step into a crowded room, shift your weight, and accidentally brush against a chair. Sorry, you whisper to the empty air. You send an email with a minor, necessary request. Sorry to bother you, you type. Someone bumps into you on the sidewalk, spilling their coffee on your coat, and before the hot liquid even registers on your skin, the word is already escaping your lips. I'm so sorry. Consider the sheer absurdity of this reflex. Why do we offer a plea of forgiveness to inanimate objects? Why do we ask for pardon when we are the ones who have been wronged? This is not politeness. This is a linguistic flinch. It is a white flag waved before a shot has even been fired. For many, the word sorry is no longer an expression of genuine remorse. It is a toll paid simply for the privilege of existing. It is an unconscious tax we pay to the world, hoping that if we make ourselves small enough, agreeable enough, and apologetic enough, the world will not turn its harsh gaze upon us. But what exactly are you apologizing for? You are apologizing for taking up space. You're apologizing for having needs, for possessing a voice, for the fundamental friction that occurs when two human beings exist in the same environment. You have convinced yourself that your natural state is an inconvenience to others. This is the hidden tragedy of the chronic apologizer. You believe you are keeping the peace, but in reality, you are quietly at war with your own right to be here. Modern psychology might label this a trauma response or a symptom of chronic people-pleasing. But to understand the true depth of this behavior, we must look through the lens of ancient Stoicism. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, drew a hard, uncompromising line between what is within our control and what is not. They called it the Dichotomy of Control. On one side of this line lies your own will, your choices, your judgments, and your moral intent. On the other side lies everything else, your reputation, your body, and crucially, the emotional reactions of other people. When you apologize for something you didn't do, you're violating this fundamental boundary. You're attempting to manage the emotional state of another human being. Think about the subconscious motive behind the preemptive apology. You sense a shift in the room's atmosphere. Someone looks annoyed. Someone sighs. Immediately panic sets in. You feel the urge to absorb their discomfort, to neutralize it by taking the blame. Sorry I brought it up. Sorry it's raining. Sorry the train was late. You believe that by claiming the fault, you can control their reaction and restore harmony. It is a desperate illusion of control. You're trying to play God with other people's feelings. The Stoic concept of autokea, or inner self-sufficiency, demands that we abandon this exhausting masquerade. It demands that we accept a terrifying reality. You cannot control whether another person finds you abrasive, inconvenient, or frustrating. Their annoyance is their property. When you constantly apologize for things outside your jurisdiction, you are constantly trespassing on their mental property, trying to tidy up a house you do not own. Let us examine the architecture of this reflex. When you enter a social interaction carrying a heavy load of unearned guilt, you are stepping into a courtroom of your own making. In this invisible courtroom, you are always the defendant, and the rest of the world is the judge and jury. You enter the room having already pleaded guilty. Why? Because psychologically, it feels safer to be guilty and quickly forgiven than to stand completely innocent and risk being misunderstood. Guilt gives you a script to follow. It offers a predictable outcome. You lower your head, they grant you pardon, and the interaction moves forward. But this preemptive surrender exacts a terrible psychological toll. By constantly playing the defendant, you train your subconscious to believe that you are inherently defective. You build a prison out of pleasantries. The Stoic understands that true safety is never found in the unpredictable judgments of the crowd. It is found only in the quiet sanctuary of your own rational mind. If you have done no wrong, the courtroom does not exist. You must simply refuse to take the stand. There is a darker consequence to the chronic apology. When everything is an apology, nothing is. Stoicism places immense value on truth and justice. Justice requires accurate scales. If you break a promise, betray a confidence, or act with cruelty, an apology is required. It is a vital, weighty mechanism of moral correction. It is the moment you look another human being in the eye and say, "I failed my own standards and I caused you harm." But what happens when you use that same sacred mechanism for a delayed elevator or a misheard sentence? You bankrupt the currency of remorse. You dilute the word sorry until it is nothing more than a nervous tick. When you finally do make a grave error, and because you are human, your apology will ring hollow. It will sound exactly like the noise you make when you bump into a table. The chronic apologizer robs themselves of the ability to make meaningful amends because they have traded away the gravity of their word in exchange for cheap, momentary social comfort. Guard your apologies. Keep them heavy. Keep them true. To stop apologizing when you are innocent is not about becoming arrogant. It is not about adopting a posture of invincibility or dominating the people around you. It is about a quiet, grounded alignment with reality. And reality involves friction. When two stones rub together, there is dust. When two lives intersect, there will be misunderstandings, delayed schedules, crossed wires, and moments of profound awkwardness. This is the natural order of things. The Stoic embraces apatheia, not a numb apathy, but a deep freedom from irrational emotional turbulence. When you stop rushing to smooth over every awkward silence with an apology, you will feel exposed. The friction will suddenly become visible. You will state a boundary, and the other person may look displeased. You will take 5 extra seconds to gather your belongings at the checkout line, and the person behind you may sigh heavily. Your instinct will scream at you to bridge the gap, to offer the verbal sacrifice of, "I'm sorry." Do not. Let the friction exist. Let the silence stretch out awkward and heavy. Allow the other person to experience their own mild annoyance without trying to rescue them from it. You are not their savior, and you are not their punching bag. You are simply a person taking up your rightful volume of space in the universe. Abandon the fantasy that this shift in behavior will make you universally respected. It will not. When you withdraw your chronic apologies, some people will not see quiet strength. They will see defiance. They have grown accustomed to your shrinking, and they will interpret your sudden stillness as an offense. They may call you cold. They may find you difficult. The social friction will not disappear. In fact, for a time, it may intensify. This is the ultimate test of your inner fortress. Are you willing to be misunderstood? Are you willing to let someone walk away with an incorrect negative judgment of you and do absolutely nothing to correct it? The next time the world brushes against you and that familiar, anxious word rises in the back of your throat, I want you to close your mouth. Swallow it. Stand in the uncomfortable, heavy silence. Look at the reality of the moment. You have committed no crime. You owe no debt. You're simply here. And as the silence settles around you, ask yourself, if I am no longer apologizing for my existence, what exactly am I going to do with it?